What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Sansom Sports Media Podcast. We're your hosts, Hunter and Michael. We're going to come at you with all things college basketball today. NFL's kind of wrapped up. There's 3 games that are really meaningful next weekend. Not a ton to talk about. College football, the biggest games start after this podcast, so we've already picked the big games. We're not going to redo those. Not really any MLB or NBA that we're going to cover here. If I'm talking NBA, please just hit me. I don't know, knock me out. Um, but with the NBA, it's a great segue into the first segment of our podcast tonight. What are we going to do about the pro to college transition guys? I mean, Zeke Naji being the biggest name to obviously do it, moving from overseas down to Baylor. But you got Flowers that has played NBA games this year that's looking to transfer in. What are your thoughts, Mike? Are you a fan or are you not a fan?
I mean, we've gone from when players want to put their name in the draft, they can't hire an agent. But now players that are already in the NBA can go down and go to college? What? Huh?
What are we doing? Yes.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. We were discussing off air that I think there should be some kind of an age limit of like 24 or 25 where you can't be, you come in as an 18-year-old, in theory, 19-year-old, whatever it might be, and you get 5 years at most.
Exactly.
If you get 4 good healthy years, that's your college career. You have one, injury, you have one transfer year, maybe you got a 5th year. That's it.
Go to the 5-5 rule. In my opinion,
Yeah,
just give everybody the blanket 5 and 5. You get
I
hurt,
guess.
you transfer, whatever, it doesn't matter. You get 5 years to play your college basketball, and then you're done. So, and then let's say 25 is a cutoff because, I mean, there's some 20-year-old freshmen out there,
Yeah.
especially international. But the nonsense of having these guys come over from FC Barcelona or the G League or the NBA and playing actual college basketball makes just no sense to me whatsoever. I understand these aren't amateur athletes, and I'm not saying that, but
Not
we've taken
anymore.
any idea of amateurism or anything and basically just made NCAA basketball professional basketball at this point.
There's a team, I don't know which team it is. I don't recall a conference, but I believe they're not going to be eligible to participate in the NCAA tournament because of academic reason. I think their GPA or whatever it is too low. But we don't care about people coming down from the G League or the NBA. They're gonna be enrolled in college classes.
I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that Najee that just came from Baylor is going to be taking meaningful classes right now. He might in the summer. Don't get me wrong. I hope he gets his education. I don't want that aspect lost, but we're no longer coming as student athletes. That's fine. I don't care. Let's just put some parameters on it. There should under no circumstances be a reason we're transferring in the middle of the season. And there should be no reason that we're bringing in guys that have played professional minutes. Make your cutoff as soon as you step on a professional court.
Yeah. 24, 25-year-olds coming in as a first year when you already got different life experiences, emotional experience. It's not fair for 18 and 19-year-olds. It's just not the same.
And that's not to say that Zeke Naji is going to be better than Cam Boozer or some of these other crazy guys, but in general, their emotional maturity is going to make them a lot easier to adapt and play, which is why it's such a good move. I mean, if I'm Scott Drew, I'm not mad at him by any stretch of the imagination. He's using the rules to his advantage. There are no rules. He went out and got a player that likely will give him good minutes. I don't blame him. I'm mad at the system and the way that things are going down. This is not Baylor's fault. Baylor just happens to be the middleman that did what they were allowed to do.
I think even Tom Izzo, who went on a pretty famous rant about it recently, even said it's not Baylor's fault. I think he even mentioned that he likes Scott Drew. I think they're friends.
Yeah, they are friends.
They even talked about it afterwards. They discussed it. It's the landscape, and maybe this kind of incident will, or I don't know, want to say incident, but occurrence, however you want to put it, will shed more light on it and create some rules with it.
Yeah, I think it absolutely has to. And I will say we were always going to have to get more and more absurd. I think Eric Haslam has been saying it for years. the more absurd we get, the quicker we come back to less absurd.
Yep.
These things have to happen so that we can come back to kind of a medium. And this is probably what gets us there, if I had to guess. But yeah, this is very ugly, and I'm very much so not happy right now about this situation. It's hard to watch. I don't want to have to learn new player profiles or have to worry about what the committee's going to do because Baylor's now effectively a different team. Like it's not what we should be doing here.
On a somewhat different topic related to college basketball, with like the pendulum swinging too far and how it's going to affect, certain teams and leagues. This whole conference realignment where you've got 16, 18, 20 teams in the league, instead of strengthening it, it's going to cost at least the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC. I don't know about the Big East because the Big East is kind of their own struggles as it is.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost all those leagues at least one or two bids this season. I
would argue NIL has screwed the Big East up more than anything.
Yes.
Because they were under this impression that they could maybe fend it off a different way, and they're not able to do that. But your teams that have spent, UConn, St. John's, are doing okay for the most part.
Yes.
I know Georgetown has spent, but that's a whole different discussion. I would argue alignment has really hurt the Big Ten and the Big 12 especially this year.
Yeah, it's going to cost the Big 12 at least a couple bids because, there's teams in it that aren't bad, but they're not helping them.
Yeah.
And the losses at the end of the season that may happen for some of these bubble teams are going to cost all of them at least a bid or two.
Exactly. Especially, when you start talking Colorado losing to Northern Colorado yesterday. It's a perfect example. Utah's had some really bad losses this year, and they have a really good opportunity tonight against Washington, but they have to win it.
But this might hurt, like when Arizona State has to go play them down the road.
Exactly.
When TCU, if they're still in the running, has to go. I don't know. I know. Those kind of teams do you think about? Oklahoma State.
Correct. Yeah. Oklahoma State's a great one because they're right there on the bubble. We'll get to my bracket in a few minutes, but they're right there on that line of in and out. A loss to a Utah or a Colorado would be absolutely brutal for them to take.
When you think of the ACC, like the Virginia Techs, if Wake Forest is around, if Miami's around, we're going to get to Miami at some point.
Yeah.
But, Cal and Stanford, not giving them a whole lot. They both have, Stanford and Cal both have really good records, but not much behind it. Probably aren't going to sustain where they are. But having to go out and play them on the West Coast and
somebody will lose those games, if not multiple people will lose that.
Yeah. And we're going to have the same thing in the Big Ten with, I don't know who, but Ohio State if they have to go out and play Washington, who just took a bad loss, their own bad loss. Was it to Seattle? I think it was.
Yeah. Both Washington and Oregon right now are not tournament level teams. So again, you're having those same issues with all these conferences.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could definitely make that argument. And I think making the argument, that's a very solid argument against having all of these extra players come in like that. That evaluates pretty well.
One thing that was mentioned with Miami, Florida, ACC decided to go from 20 games down to 18 so that they get 2 more non-conference games. Mm-hmm. Miami does not get to play Duke this season.
Correct. You can take that. If you're a 20-win ACC team, you're going to get in. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So if you play a bunch of stupid teams, you're going to get in.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
The net and other metrics are going to love a 20-win power conference team. You can argue that, we'll see. No.
Yeah.
The metrics are going to love it. It's going to look like a top 30, 40 team in the country, and they'll get in. They may not be high, but they will get in. It'll be a lot of Q2 and a lot of Q3 wins, but they'll get there.
I will say, though, if Miami doesn't beat North Carolina, Virginia, NC State, Clemson, those teams at least once, they're going to have to win their other games in the ACC.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're going to have – it's not going to be easy by any stretch, but there's a path for them without having to play Duke, without having to beat a Louisville or a North Carolina.
That was the other one they play, too. Yeah.
Want to take a second before we dive too deep into resumes. Let's do some non-conference superlatives. I just want your biggest, like the most impressive team, and your most disappointing team.
I mean, one of the teams I'm most surprised by so far has been Seton Hall. Despite the loss to Nova, I thought we were going to be talking about them along with Boston College as like the worst Power 5,
Agreed.
schools. There's a long way to go. Are they going to be a tournament team? I don't know, but I didn't think we'd ever discuss that at all about them.
Correct. They're going to be in my bracket here in a second. Them being in that bracket is enough in and of itself. Just to be honest with you.
I'm trying to. I mean, Michigan State is better, much better than I thought they were going to be to this point.
Sorry for the up and down on the screen there.
Those are probably about the ones that come to mind the most. Vanderbilt for sure. I didn't think they. I mean, I think at the moment Alabama has the best resume of SEC teams.
But it's close.
It's close. I didn't think Vanderbilt was going to be number 2 at worst.
Yeah. Vanderbilt was my first pick. Nebraska was my second pick. Again, the job Hoiberg continues to
Great win at Illinois that they had recently.
Yep. And they continue to win. It's what it is. So both of those were my two biggest surprises. I think you could also argue both Michigan schools have impressed. I would just say they weren't necessarily at that level because we expected something out of both of those teams a little bit higher coming into the year.
My biggest disappointment goes right back to the Big East and Marquette.
Agreed. Marquette and then Creighton up until about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Were the two most disappointing teams in the country, but I would very much so agree.
We mentioned Seton Hall and Boston College as being two of the worst power conference teams. I didn't think Marquette would be in the same breath with Boston College.
No, I thought it'd be Seton Hall. If anybody, Seton Hall or DePaul, and DePaul's obviously right there. But I did not see this coming from Marquette whatsoever. I did not think they were going to be a tournament team, but I didn't think they were going to be quite as bad as they are.
Marquette is 5-8. With their wins being a 3-point overtime win over Valparaiso. They beat Southern by 18. They beat Albany. They beat Central Michigan, which I think that was that close game for a while, if I remember. And they beat Little Rock. They lost by 7 to Maryland, who's not good. They lost by 9 to Georgetown, who's not very good. They lost to Dayton, who's okay.
Exactly.
They lost by 20 to Wisconsin, who isn't all that good either. They lost by 20 to Creighton. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Indiana badly. They lost to Purdue pretty badly. I mean,
and it's not like for the most part, it's not like they're playing like the schedule Kentucky or Auburn has played. Like they're playing good teams, but they're not playing like crazy elite teams for the most part.
No, they've played one Q1 18.
Obviously, Purdue would be the outlier there. Yeah.
Their wins above bubble is 240.
Some would call that not great. Other disappointments, I think the SEC's been kind of overall pretty
Yeah.
I think South Carolina's been bad, but overall, I don't think the SEC's been terrible. Same thing with the Big 12. I do want to call out Oregon and Washington both. Both of them have been just really rough. I know Washington has not been healthy yet this year. They should be for tonight's game, but we'll see. Oregon just absolutely, I think they've dug themselves too deep of a hole to get out of at this point.
They'll have their chance coming up, but I think I tend to agree. They have, Maryland Rutgers isn't going to help them a lot. Ohio State at home, they need to win that. That would help. And then they get their chance with Nebraska, Michigan State. So they got to win those next 3 and then go from there.
Exactly. So it'll be, they've got a chance, but they're going to have to do some damage that probably isn't expected of them.
Not right now.
Exactly.
When they played good competition, it has not turned out very well. They haven't just been losing some of these games. The Gonzaga game was kind of close, I guess, 9 points. I don't know if it was really that close. Lost to UCLA, lost to Auburn by double digits, lost at home to USC, who's okay. Lost by 10 to Creighton, lost by 17 to San Diego State, who has not been what we thought they were going to be either.
That's just kind of the theme. I feel like there's been a handful of teams that just we expected to be much, much better than they have been. But moving along,
I thought UCLA would be better.
Same.
And they haven't been.
They haven't been as disappointing as some of the other teams, but they've definitely not been great.
No.
Completely agree there. Looking ahead, I think we can both agree Shaheen Holloway is probably your coach of the year.
Right now.
Binghamton at Vanderbilt probably has an argument, as does Hoiberg. But those are your three, I think, that would be the discussion piece for that.
You never know how a college coach coming from, say, James Madison is going to do coming up.
Exactly.
But I think Vanderbilt was a pretty nice fit. It's an SEC school.
Exactly. They've given
but not Kentucky. It's not one expected to, be contending for national championships.
Yeah.
Good first year last year, I think, because he was there last year, right? Got them to the tournament, and now
suddenly he's popped off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's becoming an everything school. Don't look now.
Right.
Moving ahead to some of our players of the year. I'm going to just my top three, Cam Boozer, Christian Anderson, and Liberian Philon from Alabama. I'm going to go you could name the top three players and just move on with life and be done. But those three have kind of stood out to me this year. Would love your thoughts.
Boozer definitely there. Lendenberg from Michigan has been really good, obviously. Braden Smith's been pretty good for Purdue so far. So
if I was rounding out a top five, those would probably be the other couples that I would add, other than obviously Boozer, we both said. But that grouping has been very impressive. Bruce Thornton with Ohio State's also been good. And then the backcourt for SMU has been very impressive. Edwards and Boopie Miller have been just very, very talented. And Edwards had a second triple-double of the year.
I just need to see SMU beat someone of importance.
And that is why they didn't get to go on the initial list, because they haven't beat anybody that I want to give them that credit for yet. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's move ahead towards some resumes.
Yes.
Let's talk. I'll pull up my bracket. You can ask me some questions, whatever you got. Hit me with them.
I think the 1 seed, Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State, UConn are about as clear as it gets after Duke lost.
Agreed.
I don't think there's much debate there. Those 7, I think, are the 1 through 7 is pretty. You could rearrange it a little bit, but that's about right.
Agreed. That was the easiest part of this entire thing, was putting those first 7 on there, and then the 8 through 12 is very muddy.
Yeah, I think I would actually probably put Michigan State up on the 2 line. I don't have a problem with Houston being a 3. In fact, I wouldn't mind them being a 4. I don't think their overall resume is that impressive yet. Yeah. I would probably put Nebraska ahead of them.
I will add with Vandy, I put them up there. They're undefeated, and they've got a really solid away from home record, which is why they got bumped.
Yes.
Having Michigan State there is probably the safer, the smarter, and what will end up happening, I would expect Vandy to fall down a little bit.
North Carolina down as a 4. Why not higher?
Their metrics just didn't stand out to me as much. I think you could really make an argument for about 11 or 12 all the way down to 14, 15, maybe even 16 being up a little bit higher. I just wasn't super sold on North Carolina's metrics yet. They do have that 3-1 quad 1 record that looks very good. I should probably have them above Kansas. I know they have the head-to-head. I thought, for whatever reason, I had it in my head that was without Peterson. And now that Peterson was back, I was giving them a nod, but I did miss that one.
Is it fair to say that in some of Carolina's bye games that they were, at least by metrics here, a little closer than some of them should have been?
Yeah, but I try really hard not to look at the metrics. Already does that, do that for me. So when I'm evaluating a team for this kind of thing, I try to look at, you've beaten X, Y, and Z. I mean, they've got the win over Kansas. You've got these good wins. I'm going to use that as my evaluation criteria rather than, you only beat Winthrop by 15 or whatever.
Yeah. Louisville, about where they should be. Maybe a little underwhelming so far, but again, I think we talked about this last time we talked. what they thought was going to be a better non-conference schedule hasn't turned out to be what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they've been killed by their non-conference schedule this year.
But by their opponents, not so much themselves.
Exactly.
That's Cincinnati's, I mean, yeah. Indiana's, just not being what they thought they were early on.
And call out for Louisville, they're kind of figuring out how to play through the front court. So I think there's more to come with them, but they definitely are just still trying to figure it out a little bit.
The Tech win at Duke, I'm surprised they're not higher. But
you have to go.
They also lost to Illinois. I know they lost to, was it Louisville? Did they lose to them? Yeah.
Yeah, they lost to somebody of that name. I can't say Louisville off the top of my head.
Yeah. Florida, Virginia.
I will
USC
say. Go ahead.
USC is a soft 6.
Would Utah State or St. Mary's or Georgia or Auburn be any better?
No. I don't like Georgia's resume very much. St. Mary's barely survived last night. Utah State. Yeah.
After Auburn. You get past the 4-5 range, it gets very, very ugly very quickly.
I mean, St. John's resume isn't very impressive.
No. A lot of Kentucky and St. John's especially are there because of their just names, if I'm being fully honest.
Yeah.
Their metrics don't look bad. They kind of fit in that 7-8 range, and somebody has to be
there. St. Louis, I know somebody asked about them, and I see them as the bottom of the 8 line. Long way to go.
That was more. I like to give my mid-majors some credit when I can, and that's
sure.
Yeah.
Nova, that was a good win over Seton Hall. You see them on the 9 line, Seton Hall on the 10 line here. Central Florida, hanging in there.
Yeah.
NC State, Baylor.
Florida, NC State, Baylor, Cal. None of these teams have anything.
That's what, Indiana? That's in the last 4 in there with Butler, Oklahoma State, and Ohio State. Yeah.
I thought I'd have some fun with Butler and Indiana. I mean, they were both going to be in the first 4 there, so I was like, I'm putting them together.
Is that South Florida in the first 4 out?
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Okay.
South Florida's metrics actually snuck up on me a little bit, and if there's a team outside of Tulsa that can make a run at an at-large, it's probably USF. I was just trying
Where do you have Tulsa? Bottom of the 12 line. Okay.
Yeah. Which is about, if I was putting USF in, that's probably about where they would do instead.
Missouri has been so bad against teams with a pulse.
Yeah. As has Texas or really Wisconsin or anybody.
Yeah.
The issue is somebody has to go in these.
I know.
Sometimes. I mean, it was painful to try to get a good 8 teams that were out.
I know. And that's the issue with extending the tournament.
If you extended it to 76, all of these teams are in the tournament.
Yeah.
You're telling me you want USF and Missouri and Wake Forest in the tournament at this time?
No, I mean, Missouri is 10-3, but their 10 wins are against no one.
Yeah.
Minnesota, I think that was their best win.
I think it is. And I mean, same thing with Miami of Florida. Who have they beaten?
And now we're going to have to see who they're going to beat,
Exactly. Yeah.
Not having to play Duke, we said there's a path to get there if they don't beat Louisville, Clemson and whatnot and all that, but it's not an easy one.
Exactly. It's not going to be simple by any stretch.
When you're saying, hey, go 12-6 in your league minimum, if you don't win against one of them, that's asking a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. Did want to take a second just to call out all of the AQs after Ohio State. So 46 all the way down are the KenPom projected champs. And then I use KenPom to help me order them and just do it by order right now. There is way too much up in the air to try to split hairs through those. Those all get decided for us by time March rolls around. Just wanted to
there are some teams in there that I like too.
Hawaii
Belmont's been good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stick out to me.
McNeese.
Yeah.
McNeese is playing Michigan tonight.
Yep. And then Yale's in Alabama tonight.
Hofstra's got 2 wins over Syracuse and Pitt. Is that right? Yeah. Not that that's
that's not tournament level, especially the 14th seed. But I mean, that's showing you that there is some depth here. I mean, Oakland played Purdue close at Mackey
for a while
for a 3 seed to find.
Yeah.
Northern Colorado just beat
Colorado for what you said it was the first time since 1936.
Correct.
Wow.
Almost 90 years.
Yeah. Oakland also played Michigan State pretty close too.
Yeah.
In East Lansing, so.
Yeah, and when we talk about upsets, a lot of the time we're talking about like how they do it, and it's a lot of the time playing that style where you can just keep it close and give yourself a shot. And Oakland does that really well.
And they've played a tough schedule.
Yeah. There is not a team that's much more battle ready than they are right now.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Greg Campy gets his players ready to play.
Yeah, he does, and he'll play anywhere, anybody, anywhere.
Yep.
Any other thoughts or questions?
A lot of this will sort itself out over the next week or two.
Yes. Gonna change to some Q&As here. Perfect. College sports 24/7. How deep can St. Louis go in the tournament? Do they pull the upset?
Assuming they make it.
Obviously, assuming they make it.
They've been a pretty solid team.
Yeah.
They didn't get the opportunity really to play like a high major team, really. Depends where they are. I mean, if they really are in that 8-9 area, I mean, I could see them winning a first round game. And I don't know how if they give, say Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, UConn much of a game or not, maybe. Do they maybe if they were a 10 seed, give it if they win a first round game, give a 2 seed a tougher time? Maybe.
Probably, yeah. I could see that. The 8-9, I mean, obviously it's a terrible seed anyways, but to be in that range for a St. Louis would be tough. I do think they could win a game or two. It's going to be so matchup dependent. They're going to need somebody that doesn't want to play defense and wants to try to go have a track meet. Because that's what
and they have to go through a lot of landmines in the A-10.
Yeah. They're definitely going to have a shot, but they're definitely going to have, the Loyola Chicagos of the world to battle through.
Yep.
Who do you think wins the Big Sky?
Maybe Northern Colorado.
Colorado's who I'm taking.
Yeah. They've actually performed, I think somewhat, for their conference pretty well. So far they're 17th in right around where the MAC is. So, Northern Colorado, I think looks like the top team in the net from that conference. Idaho State's up there. I don't know. That's probably it. Montana not as good as they've been in years past. Same with Montana State. Eastern Washington is way down.
Yeah.
So
Montana's played some tough teams though, but I will take Northern Colorado for now. Montana's obviously always a hard out though.
Weber State is usually a team to watch there, but haven't seen much yet.
I haven't seen a ton from them this year.
Yeah.
UC San Diego, do they have Cinderella potential? I'm not as high on UC San Diego as I was last year. They did struggle a little bit with non-D1 opponent yesterday before pulling away. I'm going to say not this year.
The only thing I'll say is that if they get there, they'd have the experience of last year, but you need the talent too, and it doesn't seem to be there.
And also, their coach is now at New Mexico, so it's not even like that team's really intact. So I'm going to say no.
And the Big West looks better anyway as a conference.
Yeah.
UC Irvine's always tough. We've seen some pretty good basketball from that conference so far. So yeah,
agreed.
If they get there, they'll have earned it. But
fair. William and Mary, are they going dancing? I'm saying no. I think Charleston is going to take the conference.
Charleston has not looked that well this year.
No, but I haven't seen them play since they played the other day. But something in that second half, they looked like a basketball team, whereas a lot of the time this year they hadn't. So they might be figuring it out. I'm going to just bet on Charleston to win the CAA every year until they prove me wrong.
Would it be the first time William Mary's ever gotten there? Are they still part of haven't made the tournament club?
I think so, yes. Who wins the MAC?
Bowling Green's been pretty impressive. So is Buffalo. Akron's been good too. Miami, Ohio is still undefeated.
I'm going to take Miami, Ohio.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll take Akron.
That's fair. I am trying really quickly to pull the Never Made the Tournament Club up, but it's not working. Who wins the MVC? This, I think, is going to be just an absolute chaotic year, and I don't really know what to say.
The Missouri Valley rated ahead of the American right now.
Yeah.
According to the net, by the way. I like Belmont. Illinois State, I'm shocked to see it. They're up at 65 in the net. Didn't realize they've been that good.
Yeah.
Northern Iowa, not bad. Drake, down so far. Not surprised given what they've lost. Murray State, I've seen them be pretty impressive at times so far. So this is going to be a tough league. I guess I'll take Belmont.
I'm going to take Murray State. They've got the high major athletes in King and everybody down low, and I just think they'll be a little bit better to make it longer, especially when you get into the tournament situation.
Right now, there is no one in that conference below 300 in the net.
I mean, it's impressed this year. It's what the A10 used to be. If you want my honest.
Yeah.
It's starting to become a bloodbath. It's starting to become really, really good basketball now.
Mm-hmm.
William & Mary is part of the Never Made the Tournament Club.
I thought so.
I do think that streak continues again this year. Will Chicago State win 7 games? I'm saying yes. The Northeastern Conference is just not good.
It's so bad. Talk about teams below 300 in the net. There's only like 2 or 3 that aren't.
Exactly. So I'm saying yes. That is my final answer.
Top team in the conference by the net is Long Island at 194. Yeah, it's not pretty.
And that is clearly my final 16 seed in my bracketology right now. Clearly. So, yes.
Can they be a 17 seed?
If they could, I would do it.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of years and that might happen.
I know.
Moving on to our next segment here. Brandon Davies Burner. BYU's outlook for conference play. The Big 12's a bloodbath, I think, is the biggest thing to say right now.
Let's see. BYU. I like them for the most part. If they play 2 halves consistently.
They cannot keep doing what they've been doing all year.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Overall, they have some nice wins so far. Kansas State, I think they'll be able to handle Arizona State, Utah, TCU. They're going to have a tough time with Texas Tech on the road. They got to play Arizona. They got to play Kansas, Oklahoma State on the road. They play Houston. It'll get tougher.
Yeah.
They got 12 wins now. I'd be surprised if they double that by the tournament. But, they'll get close to that maybe.
I think they'll get to 22, 23 wins. Feels about right.
Yeah.
Joe Tipton. Okay. I am going to say this, and I'm just going to leave it at this. Joe acted on what he thought was correct information. Whether he fabricated a team or not, or it was fabricated to him, we do not know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate on that, so I will be leaving it at that. If there's anything you want to add, feel free.
No.
We'll leave it at that. I'm not going to speculate and start trashing other reporters.
Right.
Can I sign an NIL deal to become a team manager for $5 million on a pop? If you can find $5 million and somebody will sign you, Brandon, go right ahead.
Go for it.
I applaud your optimism, though. What in the world's going on with the basketball? They're a good basketball team. Fred Hoiberg's a good coach, and he knows how to develop and keep talent.
There's this thing called offense. You're allowed to put the ball in the basket even if you play in the Big Ten.
And he has learned how to do that.
Yeah.
And he's got players that will help him do that.
Right.
That is what's going on with the basketball.
Yeah.
They're a really good basketball team.
Yes.
I would expect to be maybe not a protected seed, but a 5 or 6 seed is absolutely possible. Why the A10 disrespect? It's not disrespect. It's just factual. Mike was on here preseason saying that they were going to be a 4-bid league. We want them to be good. They're just not.
I mean, some of this is high majors not willing to schedule them. I get it, but they have 2 Q1 wins as a conference.
Correct.
And one of them is Richmond.
Yeah.
And they're not even on my bubble watch page anymore right now.
Right.
The other is Rhode Island.
Losing to Charleston Southern on the back end. Like you've got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not named Dayton, you're going to have trouble scheduling people. It's just how it is.
Dayton's the only team for some reason that can figure out to schedule decent teams, and even those didn't turn out to be very good this year.
Exactly. I think St. Louis, if they can keep Shirts around and he doesn't ship up the high major after this year, is probably another coach that will start scheduling better. But for now, they need to schedule a little bit better when they can, and they got to beat teams like Ohio. I'm talking to you, St. Bonaventure. There's multiple games like you can go down the schedule and look at that. It's not disrespect. It's just
can this still be a 3-bid league? It's possible, but there's a long road to that.
2 bids is max.
St. Louis has a good chance. VCU has a chance. Dayton has a chance. And outside of that,
you're done.
I just don't – I mean, I have teams on the page. It doesn't mean I see them getting there.
Exactly. And I think 2 of the 3 teams that you just mentioned have to beat the other two teams to get in and have any shots.
Right.
So we're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Favorite mid-majors to make it – go ahead. Sorry.
George Washington, there's just nothing there. They need to, and they're going to probably find a way to lose a road game at Duquesne or something. You know, it happens.
We've all been there.
Yep.
Favorite mid-majors to make a deep run. I'll go with St. Louis and Hawaii for the 2 that I'm picking. I think Belmont's another good pick, though.
Yep. McNeese, maybe.
Yeah.
Seems decent.
And
Hofstra, if they get there, you know, maybe.
I would say the 8 teams on that 12 and 13 seed line are probably the teams you could circle. The issue is maybe 4 of those teams will actually make the tournament.
Right.
Come tournament time. Why was BYU left out of this football playoff? So back to football. BYU did not beat – I understand that you are a BYU fan.
Yeah.
Brandon Davies burner. I understand. I know where you're coming from. You lost to Texas Tech twice. Unfortunately, that was enough to leave you out. You're the people's national champion, and you got to sacrifice and eat a Pop-Tart.
I mean, it's just – I understand what the record was, but it was inflated by the Big 12 not playing anyone outside of conference. So what do you want me
Exactly.
You know?
Next year, schedule a little bit better, which I know you're scheduling Notre Dame. So see, we're making progress. And we'll see what happens from there.
Yep.
All right. And our final set of questions for the day. Michigan, Arizona, and UConn for the field.
I'll take the field, but narrowly. I mean, with the field, I get teams like Purdue and, you know, even Duke. Yeah. But Michigan and Arizona and even UConn have been very, very impressive so far.
If they continue this through like even a quarter of conference play, let's have a different conversation. But for now, I'm going to take the field just because of how hard it is to win that many games in a row. Obviously, somebody has to do it. I don't know. Something gives me pause, especially Michigan playing down to Wake and
well, that's the thing too. Yeah,
I'm not saying that any of these teams are bad. Just there's been weak spots at times.
There may be a point where we may say that Michigan peaked too soon at one point.
I do have concerns of that as well.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
other than that, any final thoughts or anything you wanted to wrap up with?
No.
I think that was a great ending question. So I appreciate the 3 groups of questions we had today.
Yes.
As always, make sure you like and send them in to us so we can get them up here and onto this. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube or anywhere that you're finding us on socials. I've also got the most recent videos linked up on the homepage of the website. So make sure you're checking all of that out, and we will talk soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.